Ani bojo, Beijing wabshke mang ding gwite gabo indigenous cause meanwhile deb cinema and go makwa and doram Penetangushin, meanwhile Henvinlet First Nation, Dunjaba, Trenton and Dow. So I'm Deb Sainama, I'm Bear Clan, I'm originally from Penetangushin and Henvinlet First Nation, and I am the elder in residence at the Faculty of Education at Queen's. The sugar maple, I think it's called Ninatic in Ojibwe, is the man tree, and it is important because it gives us so much life. It provides us more than just maple syrup. It is a source of medicine. It's a source of food. It provides shade and oxygen. The maple sap, the sweet water, is something that we use for a cleanse. There are many parts of the sugar maple that are edible as well. You can eat the keys in the spring. You can eat the leaves as well. My earliest memories of getting teachings are just as a small child in the early 1960s. We would celebrate it as Métis, as Francophones each spring, and there'd be jigging and dancing. And it's like the one time of year I would get to have eggs poached in maple syrup, because the rest of the time it's like too precious, that liquid gold. So I've been to sugar shacks owned by Métis. I've been to sugar shacks owned by Ojibwe to see the different ways that people honor the gifts of the sugar maple. I think it's also important for people to know how to sustainably harvest the maple too, so that if they have one sugar maple on their property, that they don't go out there and tap it all of the time, like 24/7. There are times when it is good to tap the maple and times when you should not be tapping the maple, and the maple has a different flavor depending on like what the temperature is outside. So I think that people should get the teachings so that they're able, if they're wanting, to harvest their own maple sap. This is an important tree to us, and it's one of our relatives. We have to look after our relatives, so it's important to learn how to take care of the sugar maple, not just take from it, but also to give to it.
My name is Lindsay Brandt, and I'm an educational developer, Indigenous Pedagogies and Ways of Knowing in the Center for Teaching and Learning here at Queen's University. Wata reminds us, in that tree, being the leader of the trees, reminds us that it's important to reach out and connect to other elements of creation beyond humans. And I think Wata in particular, because it requires so much nurturing to get to the stage where you can produce the maple syrup, it reminds us to reach out and create those connections. So checking on the weather, if the weather's appropriate for beginning tapping, and then tapping those trees, and then nurturing that connection and relationship with the tree itself to produce the sap, and then the boiling process and all that just reminds me how much of care and time is needed in engaging with those relations. It also reminds me that there's a lot of sweetness even in the darker times of winter. And we think about that as being a quieter time for Mother Earth. And then the sap starts to run, that's when she's reawakening. And so it just reminds me to reach out and establish those connections with the natural world that surrounds me. I remember hearing stories of Wata growing up just as it being a cleansing. So a lot of people will drink that at the beginning of the season and drink that as a way to kind of cleanse and purify. And it reminds me to take time to cleanse and purify myself at that time as well. So I think for me, that's the main reason why I find it to be a powerful medicine, because it is that physical and kind of spiritual reminder to kind of just take care of ourselves and each other. I think it's important at any stage in life to really pick up the teachings and learn as much as you can about them. I wasn't aware of a lot of the cultural stories, Mohawk stories around Wata, and I'm just now coming back to those and learning about the connection between Wata and Creator and all those other cultural values that we hold as Mohawk and Haudenosaunee people. And so I would encourage others, if you're at later stages in life, don't be afraid to look back and reach out for those teachings and really pick them up and carry them forward.